Hi, dear children. So, yeah, let us continue with the social class. In the previous class, we have discussed the first chapter of history, right? The birth of modern India, when, where, and how, which was quite interesting, correct? We got to learn various things about the different sources of history, about the changes which took place in during this British era, colonization, industrial revolution, how it affected our country, right? And also this, what do you call? What was the colonial perspective for with regard to India and this the modern India that we have. Yes. So we're done with one from geography, one from history. Now we are left out with yeah. So we will do one from civics, pol science. All right. So this is how we will proceed. We will do one chapter each from all the sections. Okay. Accordingly, so that what happens, we take all the sections together so that none of the sections is being left out. Okay. What is the next chapter? Page number 263. Look into your book. Our Constitution. Where is 263? All right. Constitution. Hmm. Let us see first of all what do we have in this chapter. Okay. In short, if I give you the introduction about this chapter, that what does this chapter contain, or what are we going to learn from this chapter, is that it will just tell us about our constitution, that is the Indian constitution. Okay. Before that, we must know what do you mean by a constitution. What is a constitution? Now see, you might have come across, I don't know whether you have heard or not, that it's being said that Indian constitution is the longest constitution in the world, as because it has got so many articles and all. But what is constitution? Constitution, we have heard this terminology quite a number of times. Constitution. But what do you mean by the word constitution? I don't know what is given in the book, but let me just give you my definition and an explanation in a layman's term, in a simple language, so that you understand well. Constitution basically means the basic set of rules and regulations. Yeah, it's not that only a country has got a constitution. Even your house has got a constitution. In my family we have a constitution. In the school we have a constitution, right? Everywhere there is a constitution. How? Now I'll give you an example. Say, mm, say your parents told you, okay, now for supposing you want to go for games, all right. So your parents told you, okay, fine, you can go for games, but by such and such time you have to return back. Okay. So that particular word, that by such and such time you have to return back from your games, that is itself is a constitution. Rules, basic set of rules. That's the rule of your family. That's the rule of your house. Constitution, right? Or another simple example, say the dinner time. The dinner time of your family, or everybody, say for example 10 p.m. Okay, 10 p.m. No matter whatever you do, whatever wherever you are, all must be in a dinner table. So that's another constitution. I hope you're getting it. What is constitution? In simple term, it's a basic set of rules and regulations, which everywhere you will find. In every spheres of life, you'll find constitution. Where there is no, in fact, without constitution, life would be a mess, right? Without proper rules and regulations. So likewise, now let us come to this Indian constitution. Now our country, being one of the most diverse country, and also the most second largest, second most populated country, we also need such type of constitution, so that everything is being governed in a proper way, in a smooth manner, and there is no chaos, there is no kind of what do you call, war or conflict, which so in order to keep everything in a smooth manner, rules regulations is a must, so that we all must abide, we all must follow it. That is called constitution. I hope you got the idea what is constitution. Okay, let us see if there is an example given, a short story, before we start the text in a green box. Let's read it out. Mansi woke up one Sunday morning hearing a lot of commotion. She looked out of her window and saw that some elders of her group housing society were having a heated argument. Everybody seemed to be shouting angrily, and nobody was in a mood to listen. The topic of the fight was parking space. There were too many cars and too less parking space within the society complex. Mr. Gupta claimed that Mr. Rao always parked his car at Mr. Gupta's designated parking space. Mr. Rao insisted that there were no designated parking spaces. Parking was done on first come, first served basis. Finally, the society president and vice president were called. They checked the residence handbook and declared that there is a designated parking space for one vehicle per flat. If the owner had more than one vehicle, parking for the second vehicle would indeed be on the first come, first served basis. Since Mr. Gupta was trying to park his second vehicle, he cannot claim any space of his own. All the residents were supposed to abide by the rule book, so finally the argument ended. Soon life went back to normal. Thank God for the rule book, thought Mansi. Rule book. Just now I gave you the definition of constitution, right? The understanding, rules, basic rules. So a good example that they gave here: commotion, argument. You can say a fight in simple language, as it was about to take place. But because of the rule book, everything the matter got sorted out. As you will have to follow, you will have to abide by this because all of them they are residents of that particular society. What society name is here? I don't know. Okay, whatever the society it is. But coming back to this constitution, which means now since these people are residents of that particular society and that particular society has got a rule book, constitution, basic rule. So things got sorted out, right? Or else imagine this argument which would have taken a kind of a, what would we say, a very bad face it would have turned into. Now let us see, go to the text straight away. I hope by now you got at least, if not much, but I believe smart students, intelligent students, you understood what you mean by constitution, right? What do you think about, what do you think would have happened had there been no rules? Do you think it is important for any institution to have some clearly written rules in order to function properly? Something which we have discussed. What is a constitution? The constitution is a set of written rules and regulations according to which a country is governed. If there are no written rules, people ruling over a country might do so according to their own whims. So it is important, especially in a democracy, that the government functions according to clearly laid down rules. Please underline that, the whole paragraph. Imagine today, so for example, you are playing a particular sports, whatever sports it is, basketball, football, cricket, whatever. Even for sports, for games, there is a rule. Just think the other way around, okay? For example, say the game, say whatever game, cricket, football, whatever you're playing, and which has got no rule. Now today there is a different captain of your team, okay, the team in which you are a member of it, and the captain makes a rule of his or her own will, and you go for the match. Tomorrow, for whatsoever reason it is, the captain changes. Maybe the captain is unable to turn up because of whatever condition, and there's a different captain. Now tomorrow, what will happen again? As the captain changes of your team, the rule changes. So ultimately, what will happen is that it's you who is going to be in trouble. That's because you have already prepared yourself. You're mentally, physically, everything in all way you are prepared that these are the rules of the games. So tomorrow the match will be played in this and this manner. You have a particular strategy. You have thought process that I'm going to do this, do that. But all of a sudden you come and you see the rules have changed. Why? Because the captain got changed. Then how will you play? What will you do? That will be a mess, right? So that's what this chapter also says, that without, if there is no written proper rules, what will happen is that it will be very difficult for each one of us to function, and especially when we talk about a democratic country. Why? Because what do you mean by democracy? People's government, people's rule, right? It's the people who decides. And moreover, ours, what is the population? Approximately, you can say 135 crore. 135 crore people, population. 135 crore rules. I hope you're getting it. What a big mess it will be. Correct? So when there is a proper rule being laid down, nobody can deviate, whether it's me or you or whosoever, we will have to follow it. Correct? Next we have importance of a constitution. India gained independence from the British rule on 15th August 1947, the leaders of the country realized that so many years of being a colony had left India ruined economically as well as socially. Caste, gender, and religious inequalities were common, and most of the wealth of the country had been drained by the British. As a result, the economy was in a pitiable state, making the country economically strong and establishing equality in the society was the foremost concern of the leaders. Moreover, for the success of democracy, it was important that people enjoyed certain clearly defined rights. To achieve all this, it was important to have written rules, regulations, and rights according to which the country would be governed. Hence, the constitution was framed. So, this whole paragraph is important. Why? I'll tell you because what is the need for a constitution? Or not constitution, I would rather make it specific. I would say that what is the need for an Indian constitution, or what is the need for a constitution for our country? Why do we need constitution in our country? The reason is here. Go back to history. We were ruled by this the Britishers. Just the previous chapter we have discussed, right? Somewhere around approximately 190 or 200 years, we were under them. And what did they do? We have also seen that. I'll not go much into detail. So in one line, if I define, we were ruined in in every aspects, you can say, be it economically, be it socially, from all spheres of life. So as a result, and moreover, this what you call after independence, for our leaders to bring back our country into a economically strong and socially, and establishing especially equality, because we know our country is diversified country. So to establish equality in the society, or to make our country economically strong, proper rules and regulations were required. Okay. And also for the success of democracy, it's a very important thing, so that people can enjoy equal rights, so that some certain rights can be guaranteed to them. Now, to achieve all these things, to achieve the economical, to bring back the economical position of our country, to achieve equality in society, or to grant certain basic rights to the citizens of our country, written rules were required. And as a result, constitution came into its place, or you can say the constitution was framed. I hope you understood what is the need of constitution. Now the question is, what is the purpose of a constitution? What is the need we have seen? What does a constitution do? Let us find out. How many points are given? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 points are being mentioned. That what is the purpose of a constitution? Alright. Yeah, let us discuss some of them. If possible, we'll try to finish all these 9 points. But if I go in detail, in bits and bytes, it takes time. But if I just give you an overlook, which I don't do, right? I want you to understand. That's the main thing. Okay, let us see how much we can for the day. What is the purpose of a constitution? Let us find out. The constitution clearly defines the power and function of the elected representative who govern the country, as well as the rights of the citizen. The laws of our country are also framed on the basis of the constitution. So, the first point, it clearly defines the powers of whoever, whosoever it is. That doesn't matter whether it's me, you, anybody. Whoever will be governing the country, that particular person has got certain rights and also limitations. I mean, certain powers and also limitations. It's not that if somebody is governing, that doesn't mean that he or she can do what he or she feels like. That's what the constitution says. It clearly defines the power and also the functions, what the work that he or she has to do. Just sitting on the chair, yes, I will be governing the country, so I will do the way I want. No, that's not what the constitution says. It also defines the functions, who governs the country, and also the rights of the citizen. Even citizen has got some basic rights. In addition to it, the laws of the country, okay, the law, the rules, regulations of the country are also framed on the constitution. First point. Second point, it defines the function and powers of the executive and the legislature, and also puts certain limitations on their powers as well. Executive. Do you know what I mean by executive in simple term? If I explain you, it's the bureaucrats, you can say, okay, the civil servants, right, the public officials, they're called executive. Legislature, in layman's term, if I define you legislature, it's the representative whom we elect. Okay, You can say the ministers, the MLAs, the MPs, and all legislature. So, second work of the constitution is that even the powers, the functions, the limitations, three things: power, function, limitations of the executives as well as the legislatures are clearly defined in the constitution. All right, second point. Third function or third purpose of the constitution is that it tries to uphold the unity, integrity, as well as the diversity of the country. Yes, you see, there are so many laws, so many articles which is being drafted in the constitution, and the reason behind those law is that so that the unity, the integrity, and the diversity of the country is being upheld with with proper respect, so that nobody can hamper this, nobody can hamper the unity on whatsoever ground it is. Okay, nobody can affect this, what do you call, the integrity and also the diversity of the country. Otherwise, if this constitution rules regulation wouldn't have been in place, you see in our country more than 600 vernacular dialects, regional languages, you know, are being spoken in our country. Overall, I'm talking from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from this Arunachal to Gujarat, north to south, east to west. But still, we live so peacefully, happily. We respect each other. All the languages, all the religions, everybody, be whatever religion, caste, creed, all are equally treated. We all stay in a peace, in a harmony with one another. And what makes us do that? The Constitution. All right. That was one of the reasons that why this Constitution is being drafted. Next, we have the next point. The purpose of the Constitution is that it clearly defines the nature of the country's political system, the way in which the government will be elected, and on what basis it will function. Okay, in simple term, if I tell you, uh, you can say the methodology. Yeah, the method in which election will be held, the steps. In simple language, I'm explaining you how the election will be held, how the government will function, how the political system will run. Okay, and also on what basis it will function. Those are also defined in the constitution. Clear? How many points? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 points we have discussed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 points remains. All right. We'll end up here for the day. The remaining points we will be discussing in the next class. Please go through up till this page number 264. Right on top, left hand side, where the point begins from page 263, it ends in page 264. Okay, so that's the last point. That is the first 4 points, the purpose of constitution. Go through this. The remaining topics shall be discussed in the next class. Please read the text and be at home. Don't move out. Okay, follow the constitution of your home. All right, see you in the next class.